Welcome back to my channel where I normalize taboo topics. I just want to just say how much I am so excited to be doing this. I have had the craziest day today. I had an appointment this morning, and then after that, I had to go straight to work. And then I tried to stop by to fax some paperwork because I'm trying to apply for Medicaid and they need all of this information. I mean, I have a stack of stuff, like so much paperwork. Anyways, so I tried to do that, and of course, it turns out that it was going to be a lot of money to fax it, and that was a crazy part of my day too. And I feel like at work, whatever crazy thing could happen happened. So I just kept thinking, I cannot wait to get home and talk about these things that I have and maybe other people have, and just do something that I love to do. So here I am today. And the topic I want to talk about today is social anxiety. This is something that I have and I have been trying to overcome for many years now. And it made me feel like something was wrong with me for the longest time because I didn't know that it was a thing. I didn't know that this is something that people experience. And since I know now, I understand I'm not alone and there's nothing wrong with me. It's just something that people have and they have to learn to cope with it. So I want to talk about this so that someone out there, if they were to see this video, then they can hear my experience and they can learn about social anxiety, and maybe they'll realize that they're not alone. So the information that I am using today is from a website that I use a lot. It's from Mayo Clinic, and I will post a link in the description below. This is a source that I use a lot. This hospital knows what they're talking about when it comes to any type of mental disorder or any type of neurological disorder. They are a really good source of information. So I found this article that just describes social anxiety and the symptoms and other complications that come from it. So I think a common misconception about social anxiety is that it's just a feeling of nervousness for a date or an interview or any kind of special event, but that's not the case. This article says that in social anxiety disorder, everyday interactions cause significant anxiety, fear, self-consciousness, and embarrassment because you fear being scrutinized or judged by others. In social anxiety disorder, fear and anxiety lead to avoidance that can disrupt your life. Severe stress can affect your daily routine, work, school, or other activities. Some of the signs of social anxiety disorder are listed in this article, and I'm just going to read them off to you right now. So we have fear of situations in which you may be judged, worrying about embarrassing or humiliating yourself, intense fear of interacting or talking with strangers, fear that others will notice that you look anxious, fear of physical symptoms that may cause you embarrassment, such as blushing, sweating, trembling, or having a shaky voice. Avoiding doing things or speaking to people out of fear of embarrassment. Avoiding situations where you might be the center of attention. Having anxiety in anticipation of a feared activity or event. Enduring a social situation with intense fear or anxiety. Spending time after a social situation, analyzing your performance, and identifying flaws in your interactions. expecting the worst possible consequences from a negative experience during a social situation. Another thing about social anxiety is that there are some physical symptoms that occur whenever you're experiencing the anxiety, and I'm going to list those off as well. So we have blushing, a fast heartbeat, trembling, sweating, upset stomach or nausea, trouble catching your breath, dizziness or lightheadedness, feeling that your mind has gone blank, and muscle tension. When you have social anxiety disorder, it may be hard to endure certain situations, and those are listed in the article as well. We have interacting with unfamiliar people or strangers, attending parties or social gatherings, going to work or school, starting conversations, making eye contact, dating, entering a room in which people are already seated, returning items to a store, eating in front of others, and using a public restroom. If social anxiety is not addressed and taken care of, it can ruin your life and it can run your life. So the article does list some other things that social anxiety can cause, and that's low self-esteem, trouble being assertive, negative self-talk, hypersensitivity to criticism, poor social skills, isolation and difficult social relationships, low academic and employment achievement, substance abuse, suicide or suicide attempts. I don't even know where to start when it comes to talking about my experience with social anxiety. When I read this article, I felt like it knew me, it knew my life, and it was coming for me and saying, I know exactly who you are, this is what it is. And it also opened my mind to why I have these other issues. So I think what I want to start with is, where do I start? I think I want to talk about the emotional and behavioral symptoms first. The fear of situations in which you may be judged. That hit me so hard because that is something that I have always worried about. I am constantly thinking that people are judging me. What do they think of this? What do they think of that? What are they saying about me behind my back? I feel like I am so paranoid about what people think about me. And I never knew why I was that way. I always thought that it was because I was made fun of growing up. But after reading this, I realized that it's a mental health disorder and it's something that has to be addressed and has to be taken care of. And that's one of the reasons why I'm on medication and I am talking to a counselor, and this is something that we are working on constantly. There were two other symptoms that I wanted to talk about, and I want to talk about them together because they kind of relate to each other. So we have the fear that others will notice that you look anxious, and the fear of physical symptoms that may cause you embarrassment. And I feel like those go hand in hand because it's the social anxiety that's causing the physical symptoms like the blushing, the sweating, the shaking. And I get all of those. I get the sweating, the shaking, and the shortness of breath. And I feel like people can see how anxious I am, so I'm constantly trying to hide it. So it's hard for me to kind of be myself in those situations, and sometimes I shut down. There have been so many instances where I'm so quiet. It takes me so long for me to get comfortable with someone and be my true self because of my social anxiety. And I think there's one more that I want to talk about, and this is the having anxiety in anticipation of a feared activity or event. And that one definitely hit me hard because I have to mentally prepare myself for an event. Not just any event, it's every event where I know there's a group of people that I don't know very well and they don't know my situation. I have to mentally prepare for those situations. And I experience a lot of anxiety about the event up until it happens. And I have to try to keep myself calm and come up with a plan. I have to think about ways that I could possibly leave early if the anxiety gets to be too much. When I get there, I have to look for, one thing I first look for is, where's the restroom? I need to know where that is, because if I don't know where it's at, I will be so embarrassed to be seen wandering around looking for a restroom. So I look for the restroom, make sure I know where that is so that I have a straight path to that restroom. And I need to know where the exit is just in case I need to get a breath of fresh air, because I don't want people to see me in that situation, because I'm constantly worrying about what people will think about me, even if they're complete strangers. It doesn't matter who it is. I know I won't see those people ever again. But my brain just does not want to experience it whatsoever. So the last thing I want to talk about are the complications that can come from having social anxiety, because there were so many on there that I have, and I didn't realize that it was related to social anxiety. The first one I want to talk about is the low self-esteem. I can't even begin to tell you how bad my self-esteem is. I have this voice inside my head that is just constantly beating me down. And there's this other side of me that is just wanting to fight it and say, no, you're wrong. You are so wrong. But I can't help it. I can't help that I have this other side of me that's just this dark demon that is constantly bringing me down. And I'm trying so hard to fight it off. I constantly fight those feelings and those voices inside my head. And I thought that I had low self-esteem just because I was made fun of growing up. I was made fun of for so many things. And of course, so many people judge other people and talk bad about other people. So I just thought it was just because of that. But after reading this article and, of course, talking about my anxiety with my counselor, I realized that they're just all kind of related. Since I have this social anxiety and this constant fear of being judged, of course there's that person or demon inside my head that is bringing me down constantly. Now, it's taking time, but I slowly have found myself arising above that demon and telling that demon that you're wrong. You are so wrong. I am beautiful. I am kind. I care about people. And I am the way I am. And that's part of the reason why I wanted to start this YouTube channel because I need to accept who I am and embrace it, because denying it isn't going to get me anywhere. The other thing I wanted to talk about is the hypersensitivity to criticism. This was something that I experienced a lot when I was younger. I was so sensitive when it came to any type of constructive criticism, because it wasn't anything negative. It was people just trying to build me up and help me become the person I am today. Whether it was me, I was in drama, and whenever you're in drama and you're doing a performance, you get that constructive criticism on how to improve that character. Well, that's how it is in life too. When you're at a job, when you're in school, these people are saying these things because they care about you and they want you to become the person that you're meant to be. But me, being so sensitive and having this issue, I just go straight to, I was wrong, I'm not good enough. When I make a mistake, I was so hard on myself. I don't want to get emotional about it, but I was so hard on myself for making even the tiniest mistake. Just the smallest thing that I did wrong, and someone pointed it out to me just to fix it, I thought that meant I'm bad at everything and I'm never going to be good enough. And now that I see that it's related to this, I realize that people just make mistakes and it's okay. You learn from it. And it took me so long to come to the conclusion that it's not me. It's not me. It's just that people make mistakes, and there are people out there that are just looking out for you, and they say these things to make you better. The last one that I want to talk about is the isolation in difficult social relationships. I definitely relate to that because growing up in school, I didn't feel like I fit in anywhere. I tried to be friends with everybody, but of course, I'm constantly judging myself, so I didn't want to get too close. So I had a group of people that I was really close to, and I feel like we had a lot in common, but that was my safe zone. And I was very nice to everyone else, and I didn't really know who I was. So I kind of just preferred to be alone. And a lot of the times I still do prefer to be alone. I like it whenever I'm by myself, doing what it is that I want to do, hang out with just my cats, and not having to constantly worry about what other people are thinking of me. So, yeah, isolation is definitely something that I loved because I thought it was easier than facing this. And I've gotten better. I'm not saying I'm perfect. I do push myself to go out, even though I'm scared of the feeling of anxiety and being judged. So when I do feel well enough to go out and we have something planned, I do force myself to go out of my comfort zone. But I also have a balance. I don't want to overstimulate myself and go to every single event. And I also find that time for my me time and being by myself. It's about having a balance. I can't constantly isolate myself because that's letting social anxiety win. It's letting it take over my life. And I can't let it take over my life. I have to try to live. And I can't just avoid something because I'm scared. I know it's hard to face your fears, but when it comes to something like this, you have to face it. You have to seek a counselor, talk about these feelings, talk about these issues, and normalize the conversation of what you're feeling and what you experience, because that counselor is going to come up with solutions and give you advice and also validate your feelings and let you know that you're not alone. Because if you don't talk about it, you're going to think that something's wrong with you. But if you do talk about it, you're going to realize that there are people out there like that. So that's a big reason why I wanted to start this channel. I want to have these hard conversations. I want to be able to accept who I am, the good and the bad, and learn to live with it. And maybe even make some jokes about it. You know, like, that's the only way to live. You can't ignore it. You just have to accept it. I feel like this was the hardest video to make because my whole life I have just thought that something was wrong with me. Why can't I be a social butterfly like all these beautiful, amazing people? Why can't I be the life of the party? I just kept asking, what is wrong with me? Why am I this way? Why can't I be the popular girl in school? And of course it led to all these other issues of just low self-esteem and these negative thoughts that I have to fight every single day. With the generation that raised me, we weren't supposed to talk about these things. I was under the impression that if you do seek out counseling, that means that you're not strong enough. You're weak. You should be able to deal with it yourself. That was instilled in my brain. But I know that I need counseling. I need it. I cannot do this alone. I need someone outside of the situation to help me with that. And I want other people to know that it's okay. It's okay to have these feelings. It is not wrong. Nothing is wrong with you. You're beautiful just the way you are. You really are. And let's talk about it. And Kat just wants to be famous. It keeps jumping into the camera. I can't. I just want to lighten this up and end on a positive note and say how happy I am that I have realized what it is that I have and who I am. And I'm so excited to talk about it with you, whoever you are. And if you have the same thing, it's okay. It really is okay. And there is a way to live with it. And you can be yourself. And we can talk about it. And I am so happy to have finally moved forward with this channel, and I cannot wait to make more videos because I have so much more to talk about, not just with me and my issues, but with other people. I foresee talking to other people down the road about something that they're experiencing. So if you have any taboo topic that you want me to talk about, please comment on this video. I would love to look into it and maybe even find someone who relates to that topic and interview them and get to know them. Thank you so much for watching this video about social anxiety. I am so happy that you came and watched it and you made it till the end. And come back for more. I have so much more that I want to talk about with you. Thanks.